Today's topic. So there's a little bit of YouTube stuff that unfolded recently. A girl who's a popular streamer online had a boyfriend. She was flirting with another streamer often. You know, they hinted at a relationship, stuff like that. They were doing it very publicly. Made everyone think. Problem is, she didn't tell anybody that she had a boyfriend. Getting shady. Led this guy on, right? Even though they were long distance, they went on a couple dates, you know, but she kept letting him on, but she never, you know, went the full way with him. Here's where it gets interesting. Man A is always in the closet. He's kept there. Now she got plan B, okay? Plan B's out in the public. Big name. She's mooching, okay? Then she sleeps with plan B's friend, who's plan C. Now, guess what?
What?
Apparently, there's a plan D who didn't know about none of these plans, and he thought he was plan A. So he was giving her that D. Little did he know, he was plan D. Lots of people involved.
Lots of plans.
Everybody finds out about the other plans. And you know, when you plan B and you thought you was plan A, you mad because you wanted to be plan A.
But when you plan D and you thought you was plan A?
Yeah.
Woo!
You cheese too.
Yeah.
So all the plans were mad out of the other plans, as well as the girl who was making the plans.
Hold on. The plans were mad at the other plans? Never be mad at the plan.
Right, because plan B was mad at plan C because that was his best friend. He's like, yo, plan C, how you going to be plan C when you know I'm trying to be plan A? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I see it.
Okay. So everything blew up, okay?
No, she's the only one that blew.
Here's her apology video.
Oh, no.
And I want to be honest. My relationship with Carson was very complicated. I had a boyfriend at the time, and neither Carson nor my boyfriend at the time knew about each other. And while I was clear with Carson that Carson and I were not in a relationship, I still let him on and ended up hurting Carson and my boyfriend at the time very badly in the process. I am now seeing a therapist, and although I didn't realize it at the time, I was dealing a lot with depersonalization. And I felt like I was two different people living two different lives. I felt like a passenger in my own body. I ignored very conflicting feelings and thoughts. And I was very lost and confused. And I didn't know what I wanted or what was important to me. And this was when I got involved with Fitz. And I handled it very similarly to how I handled previous things. I depersonalized a lot and was very lost and confused and didn't know what I wanted and made a lot of bad decisions because of that. And I was lost and confused, and I ended up hurting people that I cared about. And in the future, I want to be better, and I want to focus on myself, which is why I'm taking further time off streaming. And I'm working through my depersonalization. I'm still seeing my therapist. And I want to live my life more openly and honestly. And more than anything, I want to be honest with myself, which is something that I've struggled with a lot. And I'm sorry to everyone. I'm sorry to my community and anyone that I've disappointed or let down. I'm sorry to Carson's community. I'm sorry to Fitz's community and anyone else's community who was affected by this. Anyone who had to deal with this drama in their chat. I'm sorry to Tempo.
Then bringing the because, what I hear is always, it was not my fault. It wasn't me. It was biology. That's what I hear. That's what I always hear. Even though that is probably not your point, and you probably have some very valid, what you're saying is real and very well-intentioned. What I hear, I'm sorry, but it was not my fault. That's always what I hear. And to me, that's a half-assed apology.
It wasn't her fault.
It was biology. I know, but still, if you say you're sorry, it's you that is sorry.
I think that it's interesting that whenever I hear these apology tours, there's always a therapist that becomes involved. There's always a mental health issue that becomes involved.
That's the thing to
and
do.
There's always a donation that follows at some point.
Of course. These are the rules. Nobody would have been hurt if you just kept that to yourself. I don't know, man. I have a problem with people oversharing their things with the viewers and the views, and it's, you know, it's always been a problem with me.
They had a public relationship you know, that they share with their fans.
Yes, but I don't get that.
No,
Just that. I do not get. There's one thing about hiding it. That's one thing. That's one degree. There's one thing about just living your life and doing your thing. But what they did was advertising it and making it a thing. It's cringy to me. It's a big cringe. There's a lot of cringy stuff, from advertising your relationship to saying you're sorry like that. If you say you're sorry, say you're sorry. Hey, I fucked up. If you have to say you're sorry.
It should be, like you said, an 8-second video. You get there, you say, I'm sorry, I messed up, I need to do better. End of story. Because now you're making it seem like people with depersonalized will always engage in this kind of behavior, or it explains their behavior. There's plenty of people who have that condition who don't do things nearly as bad as you. Right? And it does sound like you're copping out from taking responsibility. It really sounds like that. I got so many questions. How are you a public figure? You do public streams with some other dude. Y'all flirting, talking about y'all going on dates, and your boyfriend doesn't know. I don't understand. How are you going to have public relationships when you got a boyfriend? How are you going to keep him in the dark from something you're streaming online publicly to hundreds of thousands of people?
That's crazy.
That's dumb to me.
And nobody said nothing to you.
That's dumb to me.
That's crazy.
It's like going on a reality TV show where there's cameras set up everywhere with your husband and then sleeping with another contestant and being like, how did we get caught? There's cameras everywhere. You think you're the invisible woman? Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Is it cockiness? It has to be.
It's not. You know what it is? At the end of the day, some people want to extract benefits from other people, and either A, they're maliciously doing it where they want to hurt the people around them, or B, they're just reckless because they don't care, or they're just not able to actually do proper risk assessment. Yes. Either way, this person's an idiot, right? Because if you're maliciously doing it, you're doing it stupidly. Or if you're doing it recklessly, well, then you're an idiot because you're going to get in trouble and it's going to backfire.
Easy.
Right? So regardless, I'm looking at this like, how dumb do you have to be? And then you're going to sleep with the best friend? I'm like...
The best friend?
Who's also a streamer and a public figure. And now she's seeing a therapist. Hopefully she's not banging him too. But...
You petty.
And then the best friend, that's some trash. For you to know that your boy is mad interested in a girl, like head over heels for her, and then you smash and you do it behind closed doors and you don't say nothing and it comes out as a big drama, that's trash on your part. We agree?
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
If he never even smashed, I don't care. Even if he hoped to high heaven, if you're really good friends with him and you know it's going to crush him, don't do it.
Maybe it was just like they're being, sympathetic to each other.
Some simp shit. Yeah.
Me, it's really the apology that got me. The rest of the drama, I mean,
I don't know, maybe I'm just being petty, but it's just interesting to me. Like, so these guys are like big streamers, make millions a year, right? Do really well for themselves financially. And it's just interesting to me that they're all caught up in some drama over an average broad with very little skills. Do you dig what I'm saying? Someone like that could cause that much turmoil. Fascinates me. As far as the lack of accountability goes, I mean, I'm not surprised. What do you expect? A lot of people don't have much character. Someone who strung you along and kept you in the dark and kept getting the goods from you while giving you very little in return. You're surprised that that person doesn't take accountability? It's like, it's just more evidence that a lot of people are not very good judge of character. Do you dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For you to be that involved with someone for that long and to be that duped, I don't know. It was just thoughts that I was running through my head. I can't do anything about people who are manipulative and who are liars, right? It's just like people who say stuff like, why are you telling my daughter to do this? You should tell men not to Weinstein people. I'm like, listen, Weinsteins are going to exist whether we like it or not. We're not going to eradicate crime from the world. But what we can do is engage in preemptive measures in order to make sure that we're safe.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
So I think instead of telling people, don't be deceiving, what I'm telling people is like, learn to look out for
Watch
liars.
out. Yeah.
Learn to look out for people who are going to string you along and waste your time.
I'm going to try to control what I can control.
Exactly.
Since I cannot control the amount of bad that's in the world.
Right.
I can't control that.
No.
I'm going to try to control me being safe or taking measures.
Right.
The dream would be, utopia would be to tell my daughter, I don't have a daughter, but if I would have, you're a woman, you can walk the streets naked and nothing should happen to you. Sure. But the reality is not that. And my job as a father is to have my little girl come back home safe. So I'm going to tell her and give her all the tools she needs to not be in that position. That's all I could do.
So just looking at what I have here,
Yeah.
I can't do a detailed sit rep of everything the girl did that may have indicated or tipped him off. What I do tell people is when you go through something terrible like this, where you do get cheated on, or first thing you want to do is to help yourself move on. The second thing you want to do is also to look back and look at some of the things that you might have missed that may have indicated to you that you were dealing with something bad. Reflection and then internalizing what you've learned is going to help you with future instances. Does that make sense? It's like when there's a car accident. What do? They do an investigation. They find out what happened, and then they adjust the cars so that the cars in the future are better and safer. Same thing you can do with your own experience. So at the end of the day, what I tell people is like, if you go through something like this, please just take the time to self-reflect, take the time to heal your wounds, and then take the time to learn from what happened. Don't just move on to the next experience. Don't try to bury yourself away from it. Learn, internalize it, understand what it is that you may have missed. And if you can't see it, if you just really can't, then have some friends join in, right? Talking to other people can help you to see some of the stuff that you're missing. Because most of the stuff that I've been through with people that have been negative, right, especially like early on in my dating life when I didn't know nothing, I could have avoided had I known the signs. And because I learned those signs, I avoid those negative interactions now. Like, I'm not dealing with the problems with women that I was when I was 20, that I am now at 29. I would caution you guys to look out for those things. And this is not just applicable to dating. It's applicable to business relationships.
Jobs. I mean, if you always get fired from jobs, you have to reflect on what you're doing. What is the thing that's going on? You have to self-reflect. I was at a point in my life where I was in that position. You don't keep a job and stuff like that. Why? What's happening? Why are you not? It's not always the people. Sometimes you are making people act a certain way, but it's you that's triggering that. If there's a thing that repeats itself all the time, like it keeps on repeating itself to you, the common denominator is you. You have to look at yourself. You have to look at what you're doing. You have to see the signs of what's going on and what is helping you or not helping you or putting you in that predicament. I'm not saying that every time it is always your fault, but there's some answers there. You have a job, it's not going the right way, and it's always like that. It's not all the jobs. People don't like you, or you have a hard time having relationships or stuff like that. You have a hard time having relationships. You have a hard time having... It's not everybody. And if it's everybody, it's still everybody that you choose.
But beyond that, if you are going to just sit with, it's the people around me, then what ends up happening is you take away your own power and you give it to others.
Yep.
Anyways, let us know what you guys think in the below. Was this the smartest infidelity you've ever seen? We want to hear your thoughts. So dumb, isn't it?
It's crazy.